Okay, and we are back on the Ninja 250 that you see behind me. If you remember, we started on the carbs, started taking them apart. The ones that came off the bike that I was pretty sure were aftermarket, definitely are aftermarket. And after really looking at them, they're missing a lot of things. Like, I don't think this guy actually had all the stuff on the carbs to even have it running properly. So I had disassembled these and I was getting ready to clean it. When I was looking back at the original ones that I was going to use as a reference, and all the brackets are still on here, everything is still on here, the idle adjustment, everything's there. So I'm thinking that this guy didn't even make an attempt to clean these things, just took them off and threw on some Amazon carbs. So we're gonna go back to the original carbs. I'm gonna take these apart, clean them. And then one of the reasons I was delayed on this is because I was waiting for parts. So I got my shim kit and my jet kit in. So we're gonna put those in today. We're gonna shim the needles. We're gonna clean these all up. And if we have time, we're gonna try to throw it in the bike and see if we can get it running. So basically we went up a size in jets. Johnny Mac recommended these things. And after reading a bunch of forums and stuff, it seems like 38 and 108 are the size jets you wanna go to. And then it also included two 20,000 shims that you put underneath the needles, which will give you a little more fuel going into it. So we're gonna try all that and see what we can come up with. So let's get into it. The only thing we can do is start taking stuff apart. Now, before I do start taking these apart, these are Japanese carburetors. So I do have my Japanese JIS screwdrivers here ready to go. So anytime you're working on small screws or pretty much anything on a Japanese bike, get yourself a VIS screwdriver. I have a video you can find, I'll link down below, but it'll explain to you why this is really important and how it'll keep you from stripping all your screws when you're taking stuff like this apart. All right, I'm gonna get into it and start taking this apart. All right, I'm gonna start with the shims because I don't wanna get everything all confused. So we're gonna go ahead and take the tops off here first. And these are CV carbs, so they have a big rubber diaphragm, so you do not want to get carburetor cleaner on this diaphragm when you're taking these off. So I am keeping the carb cleaner completely away from this area. Carb cleaner will expand rubber. A lot of times just ruin it and you'll never get them back in. You're going to have to buy new rubber parts, so be careful with the carb cleaner. So I, hopefully, am not even gonna take this out. I'm gonna make sure because it has to be right in its, if you pinch it, you're screwed. So I'm gonna do my best to not take that out. We're gonna put the shim, I'll show you here in a second. So it comes with two little tiny shims. So this is your needle. Basically, we want to raise it up. This doesn't have clicks with the CVs, so you need a shim. So we're putting the shim right there, just pulling it down. So your needle goes right back inside here. And then your spring and the needle holder goes down inside there. And then this is the part, you got to make sure that that rubber is in place. Do not want that coming out. So as I bring this thing down, I'm going to be very conscious, keeping that rubber in place. Okay, I think we got it. I'm going to put those screws back in. All right, so our shims are done. Now we can start disassembling this guy, which is gonna suck. I mean, they got a little bit of stuff from sitting, but it ain't that bad. Let's take a look at the rest of this guy. Seal's good. Oh, that's cool. There we go. Come on. There it is. oh, that's looking kind of chowed. Well, tip doesn't look that bad. Floats look okay. All right, let's see what jets we got in here and see how bad they are. Ooh, this one ain't gonna fit. I have to get it smaller. I mean, these do not look that bad, but oh man, they don't even have a number. So I don't know if these are the stock ones or not. But I do know that these are clean and good. But let's check out the emulsion tube. See if we can get this out. There we go. Okay, we got a little bit of dirt in there. So, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and clean these. All right, we'll let that sit in there for a minute. I'll get some of this cleaned off of here. So every single little hole you want to make sure is completely clean and clear. All right, now we're going to use our new jets, which pretty much all the guys that have worked on carbs figured out this combo. And there's a bunch of articles and every single one recommends the same, which is a 38 and a 108. So you got 108 main and 38 pilot. So this guy's going to go down in there. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the one thing I want to look at is this little rubber dude. We got to check out this rubber tip. It looks all right. I don't see anything too terrible. All right, they're moving free. Everything's in there and it looks pretty clean. Again, avoid getting carb cleaner on your gaskets. That would make for a bad day quickly. And we're gonna wanna put that inside this. This has the groove. So let's make sure this side's all clean. Now this is the stuff, it gets really annoying, but you gotta make sure you keep that in there, into the groove. Now there is a product called gasket cinch, which I don't have, which is like basically a temporary glue that can help hold stuff like this in place. So if you're old school and you have gasket cinch, this is the perfect time to use it. And no, I don't get royalties. I'm a little upset about that actually. There it goes, now it is. Yeah, buddy. Okay, careful. Get it? It's still there. Get in there. There it is. Okay. And I'm not hammering anything down. just tightening it side by side, and then I'll tighten them down, just snugging them a little bit so we pull it down evenly. Again, not that dirt. That makes me happy. I really don't think that this dude tried to clean these at all. All right, and then the last thing we're gonna do, these are air fuel mixture screws. We're gonna take them all the way in. That one's all the way in. That one is all the way in. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go 1/2, 1, 1.5. And that should be about factory, but with the new jets and everything, all the forums said, we're gonna go to 2 and then just about 1/4. So they're gonna be straight up and down if they're the same. So that one's 2 1/4. Okay, all the way in. And this one's gonna be 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, and then we're gonna go 2 1/4 about there. All right. All right, so honestly, these guys didn't look that bad. There was no big piles of schmutz inside them or anything. I'm really kind of thinking that this dude just took these off and bought some new ones from Amazon. And I'm really hoping that's the case, because usually, you know, the OEM carbs are usually better. I mean, just the way it is. All right, let's move over there and see if we can get these boys into that bike and get it running. All right, here we go. I guess we'll give this a little bit of a shot. We got some starting fluid here inside the old air box. Oh, shit. Oh, carbs are leaking. Fuck. Oh. Well, that didn't work. Carbs are leaking. So something's going on with the floats. Probably just have to check all that again, go through it, take everything apart and try again. So I'm gonna come back to this tomorrow. We're gonna get it, not giving up.
The next day.
All right, so we find ourselves over here at the vise after removing the carbs again last night, retaking them apart. This morning I went ahead and cleaned them again and put them back together, spending a little extra time on the float bowls, making sure that they were operating really smoothly and making sure that float bowl needle was seating itself inside that tube. One of the things that you can do, and I did it today, I kind of forgot about it yesterday, is you attach a tube to the fuel inlet of the carb system, and then you blow into it. And if you can hold the carbs in your hands after you have them together, when you get them past that 90 degrees, you should be able to feel your airflow stop, meaning that those needles have now shut off the fuel flow into the carburetor, and I was able to do that. So then, just to make sure they were operating, I have them here on the bench with my IV. The fuel's running into it. I checked the tap. There is fuel coming out, so the float bowls are filled, and nothing's coming out of the overflow. So now the floats and the float needles are working properly. So when we put them in, that problem should be alleviated, and now we can start focusing on the running of the bike. So, all right, wish me luck. I'm gonna go put them back in the bike. I'm not gonna bore you with that. Once they're in, we'll pick it back up and hopefully this thing will start. All right. So 2 times of taking the carbs out, putting them back in. Pretty sure I have everything hooked up pretty good. Never be afraid to try different weird things. The only way I could get this air box to get onto the carbs was to hold it forward by using a bunch of zip ties because I'm the only guy here. So, gotta try things sometimes and hopefully they work. All right. So we got the IV hooked up, so we don't have the fuel tank involved in this yet. We got fuel there. Nothing's leaking, so that's A. We did all right there. So I guess let's give it a shot. I don't think I'm going to choke it because I just had the carbs full of gas. So let's see what happens here. Okay, and... Let me give it a little bit of starting fluid. Maybe that can get it going. Hot on both. Woo! I'll take it. I will take it. I can work with that. All right, well, if you've ever worked on a project, you know the feeling I'm having right now. I am pumped. The bike started and ran. It's not perfect, but we'll get there. I am pretty stoked about this. So to recap, we started on the other carbs, decided those weren't going to work, and went back to the original carbs. I opened them up, and just as I thought, that kid never even tried to clean them or do anything. So what I did is I went on the forums, and I went through all the different things and found repeating a story about a certain jet size and a shim underneath the needle. I saw it about 5 or 6 times and convinced myself that that was probably the way to go. So I ordered the jet kit and the shim kit on eBay. It was like 30 bucks. Came the other day and we put that in. Well, as you saw, when we first put the carbs in, the float needle stuck and we got carb leaking. So I took them back out, rebuilt them again. This time I double checked them. I did the old air trick, which I told you about over there. Then we actually even bench floated them to make sure that they were not going to leak. Put them back in and we had success. So I am pumped. Tuning this thing, I'm an okay carburetor tuner, but I am not great. So hopefully I can convince Johnny Mac to come and save me a bunch of time and get the sucker dialed in and idling and running well. And then we'll get the tank on and we'll get it roadworthy. So, all right, I am super pumped. Glad I got that done. I feel really good right now. So, all right, if it works, it ain't dumb. This worked, and I am not feeling dumb today. We'll see you on the next one. Woo!